Rap's OGs react to 6ix9ine's music.
If you a rat, I don't respect you. Straight up.
To do being a superstar, you know what I'm saying?
First of all, you can't say you're the king of New York when Jay-Z still alive.
With 6ix9ine, his imaging was stronger than the music.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. When it comes to 6ix9ine, people either like him or completely dislike him. Everybody has an opinion on 6ix9ine, but today, we'll be covering the rap OGs reacting to 6ix9ine's music. So be sure to like the video and comment the keyword to win the giveaway. Number 7, the hits of 6ix9ine.
Yeah, right now on SoundCloud, what's yo, Chris, Gummo's at 7? Gummo's at number 7 in the world right now.
Before we dive into what the OGs of the rap world think about 6ix9ine, it's important to look at his music career and ask ourselves what the fans and critics at large think about him, which is a bit of a tricky subject to be honest. Because 6ix9ine started his rap career in 2014, he worked his way to try and make himself different from many of the other rappers out there, which is what a lot of people in the industry do anyway, to be honest. It was part of the SoundCloud explosion, as people called it, where young would-be rappers would put out their songs for others to listen to and spread around. 6ix9ine uses rainbow color looks and aggressive style to paint a picture. Then when he did many music videos, he would try and use anime imagery to make himself stand out more, just as unique. Many early tracks were released from a studio in Slovakia. No, seriously. Once his name really got out there, this is when things get a little tricky, because technically speaking, he did have a lot of hits, as many of his songs from his mixtapes were actually on the Billboard Top 100, with many of them getting up to the upper half of the chart. With that being said, the closest he's ever gotten to the #1 spot with a song was Fifi, and that one got a lot of people's attention because he had one of the queens of rap supporting him. And for those of you who don't know who it was Nicki Minaj. Every other solo song that he ever did never cracked the top 5, and sometimes didn't even get close to the top 10. What's more, any mixtape or album that he released may have been on the Billboard Top 200, but they never got to the top. Ironically, the best he's ever did was with his album Dummy Boy, which was an album he was supposed to release, but got arrested before he could get this out. This led to it being slightly delayed and then released online somewhat randomly, and because of it buzzing around a lot and getting a lot of sales, it made it to #2 on the Billboard Top 200.
No, seriously, no. Like, we go in the studio and
don't care.
We just be having fun, and then it's a hit.
However, it was critically panned. So where does that leave 6ix9ine in terms of praise for his music? Well, like his music itself, it's hard to say, because most critics don't like his music. But it's clear that he does have a fan base because people bought his music enough to make him deals worth millions. But despite all his claims of being the king of New York, he's never once had a #1 hit or album. And that speaks volumes when you think about it. Number 6, Snoop Dogg.
How many I think Cuz gonna get for snitching? Going down and down. What everybody keeps saying is snitching.
Can we just acknowledge how bad Snoop Dogg must hate 6ix9ine for him to get angry about anything that he does? I mean, think about it. Snoop Dogg is the most laid-back guy on earth in many ways, and yet when 6ix9ine gets brought up, oh yeah, he goes off. He's never been afraid to note the lack of style that 6ix9ine has in his music, his life, looks, and much more. And then when he went on and stitched to the government, oh yeah, that was the last straw for Snoop. He went and noted during an interview about 6ix9ine that they should let the rat rot. And he went on to note, "It's bust a man. The era I come from, you can tell on him. Snitching, working with the federal government. After the government shutdown, decides to work with the federal government. I swear to God, this new gangbanging shit is robotic to me." So yeah, Snoop Dogg ain't happy, and if 6ix9ine gets out, he's going to know that Snoop Dogg is rooting against him in regards to him getting back into rap, and clearly, he won't be alone in that process. Number 5, 50 Cent.
With 6ix9ine, his imaging was stronger than the music.
Keeping the train going, let's move to another one of the OGs in the rap world. A man who most certainly knows the ins and outs of the legal system, 50 Cent. After all, 50 Cent has been in prison himself in the past and has worked hard to get to the level that he is now. After it came out that 6ix9ine was snitching on his own crew and his own group, the Trey Nines, he made a post on Instagram. And of course, that post has since been deleted, but it was screenshotted by many others, so we know that it does exist. And he made the following joke. "Tekashi, I ain't no snitch. Judge, you're looking at 47 years, hard time. Tekashi, you guys ever notice 21 Savage looks British?" The joke was made not only at the expense of 6ix9ine, but fellow rapper 21 Savage, who faced his own jail predicament for illegal immigration, one that he got out of and is doing fine right now for the record. So the joke here is that 6ix9ine was willing to sell anyone out in order to get his own sentence reduced. And for the record, 47 years was actually the minimum life sentence that 6ix9ine was facing. He honestly could have gotten life in prison because some of the charges he was facing were quite substantial. Still, it was appropriate given what 6ix9ine was willing to do. And if he had known about 21 Savage at the time, he would have likely ratted him out. The irony of the situation is that 50 Cent not only only rolled back the post by deleting it, but also noted that he'll still play 6ix9ine's music in his ride and that he is the king of New York. Whether that's a real thing he'll do or something he just said that dodged the heat in the current situation of the rap climate is unclear, but given that 50 Cent knows the reality of the life that 6ix9ine is in terms of his group, he knows that snitching is a bad thing. So you really have to wonder what he really thinks and feels about 6ix9ine and his music. I would bet that he's listened to his music in the past, but to say that he's the king of New York, yeah, I'm not buying it. Also, while it's true that 50 Cent was in jail in the past, it's also true that he got out and stayed mostly clean since then, including now having many successful business ventures in the world. To that extent, his net worth could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars soon. But more importantly, he did his time without snitching on anyone, so he followed the code and prospered from it. 6ix9ine didn't, which means that many aren't going to be happy when he gets out. Number 4. Eminem's thoughts.
I know they miss me. All you mumble rap kids, colorful hair. Can't compare to the lyrical phenomenon that's right here.
Technically speaking, Eminem has never spoken out about 6ix9ine. And that's what's so interesting here, because in his 2018 album Kamikaze, he dedicated several songs going after mumble rappers, which 6ix9ine was most definitely in one of them. And yet, despite being one of the ringleaders of mumble rap, Eminem didn't take the time to diss him, which can be taken one or two ways. One, he simply left him out because he couldn't think of a good diss, or that he didn't want to diss him, or even the third option really, that 6ix9ine was so beneath Eminem that he didn't even deserve to get name dropped on his return album. Being that Eminem is known for being a lyrical genius and has done minute-long freestyle raps on people that he doesn't even like, I'm just gonna bet that he thinks that 6ix9ine is just beneath him, which in many ways, he is. This notion apparently didn't sit well with 6ix9ine because not long after Kamikaze dropped, 6ix9ine and a certain other actor decided to start a situation with Eminem. 6ix9ine dropped an Instagram video where he dropped the lyrics over an instrumental of one of Eminem's most popular songs. Lose yourself. You thought right when you ain't diss me. I'm a lyrical legend. I know they miss me. All you mumble rap kids, colorful hair, can't compare it to the lyrical phenomenal that's right here. He begins. I shouldn't even have to break it down all the flaws and the misuse of logic in that verse, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Mainly, he calls himself a lyrical legend, when anyone with true knowledge of rap knows that's not true. And Eminem, like many others, actually use lyrical power to have #1 hits and get Grammys and many other awards out there and much more, and they earned their fame the right way. He gained all his fame through controversy, and that eventually bit him in the end, because right now, he's in jail. He got caught by the freaking FBI, and because of that, he's rotting in the jail cell. And you know what's even more? Despite his tough guy image, he took a plea deal to stitch out everyone associated with him, just so he could get out soon. But I'll dish out more on that later. What's more, no one really misses him, except for his girlfriend, and everyone else pretty much hates him and can't wait for him to get out of jail thanks to his plea deal, so they can make fun of him because of all that he did. Which is totally fair because of all the loud mouthing that he'd done over the years, taking off all the wrong people in the rap community. 6ix9ine should have been grateful that Eminem didn't take the time to diss him, because Eminem is rarely known for ever being merciful to those who vex him. Oh, and not so ironically, not long after the video was posted, 6ix9ine took it down. He likely didn't want to feel the wrath of Slim Shady, which to be honest, no one ever wants to feel the wrath of Slim Shady, because they know he won't hold back. Which is another thing that 6ix9ine doesn't have in common with Eminem. Eminem will pick a fight and stick with it to the end. Moving on. Number 3, Drake.
What's our song called again? Fifi?
Oh, wow.
Let's talk about Drake. Drake is a very interesting man, one who in many ways is the opposite of 6ix9ine. Because while 6ix9ine did everything in his power to be controversial and aggressive in his tracks in order to get fame, Drake was just Drake. He made great music, showed off his talents, and did it without offending a lot of people until later when he got into a few feuds, but that was under special circumstances. Drake hasn't had a lot to say on 6ix9ine, but one line has stood out as an indication of what his thoughts are on his music. Mainly was after the song Fifi came out, the one 6ix9ine did with Nicki Minaj. And during an interview, Drake and Minaj were talking and Drake pretended to play dumb about what the title of the song was. And when he said it, they both bursted out laughing, as it was the most ridiculous thing that they have ever heard. Which would be inaccurate in some ways. Anyway, 6ix9ine played it off cool and honestly didn't go too far to insult Drake back. He even noted that going up against him was going up against God, which technically speaking isn't a falsehood given Drake's prominence in the rap world today. So was Drake poking fun at 6ix9ine, or was he just being cute because he was with Minaj in an interview? Probably a little bit of both. I say that because Drake is one of the most accomplished artists in music history. And then there's 6ix9ine, who's the biggest success on the streaming services, which Drake also dominated for the record. Drake is almost the literal king of Toronto, complete with a key to the city and also being the global ambassador for the Raptors, while 6ix9ine proclaims to everyone that listens to him that he's the king of New York. So for a guy like Drake, 6ix9ine might seem a bit like a child trying to get attention. Plus, he knows that 6ix9ine isn't even close to his level lyrically, which is why he likely thought that Fifi was funny, because it's not a real word, and just like a child, he made it up. Number 2, Cardi B. While she may not be an OG per se, she's one of the leading ladies of the rap world right now alongside Minaj. And leave it at 6ix9ine to diss her in any way that is completely pathetic and prompting her to lash out in her own way. To make things short and sweet, back when Cardi B was making her name in the rap world with her hit Kodak Yellow, 6ix9ine, who was breaking in around that time too, came out and blasted Cardi B, mainly stating that he didn't see her as a self-made pioneer of the industry like he was. He also noted that he was prettier than her and that he was the best looking rapper in the city of New York regardless of gender. Yeah, I thought he couldn't sink any lower, but apparently he did. Mainly because a lot of these statements are false, and not the least of which is his dig on her looks. That's very wrong. But more on that, Cardi B is really a self-made pioneer. She had to do a lot of regular jobs until she built up her social media enough to get on TV, and that led her to make rap songs, which she is still doing today. She built up that Instagram fan base, which is still large and in charge today. Her response to what he had said was subtle but condemning. All of these social networks and these computers got these walking around like they got some shooters. By shooter, she likely meant that he's talking about his mouth off like he feels that he's entitled to which he does, and he has no filter, and even he himself has admitted. As for his music, she barely comments on it, but ironically, during the song Fifi, it appears as though Minaj was insulting Cardi, so she blasted back. But given that 6ix9ine and her have never worked together, I would say that it's safe to assume that she doesn't like him or his music very much. Number 1. French Montana.
To do being a superstar, you know what I'm saying?
First of all, you can't say you're the king of New York when Jay-Z's still alive.
For many of the biggest problems with 6ix9ine isn't just his music, though there's certainly a factor in there, but rather it's just that he's too big-mouthed, that he claims himself to be the king of New York despite many rappers being from New York that are much bigger than him, like Jay-Z for instance. And the more he says that, the more people he irks off, such as French Montana, who is another rapper who has not only paid his dues, but understands how the world works. And in the rap world, he made it clear that as long as Jay-Z is alive, there is no other king of New York in the rap world, and blasted 6ix9ine for even thinking that he measured up to Jay-Z. That right there shows out the loyalty to his crew and music that didn't need to be involved in the notion for it to be clear where he stood on it. And so there you have it, everyone. Some OG rappers who have not been shy about what they feel about 6ix9ine. So do you agree about their thoughts or lack of thoughts on his music and life? And where do you rank in regards to what 6ix9ine has done and not done as a rapper? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on King Trending.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.